This program is going to be about backpacks, internal and external, looking at pluses and minuses, although that battle's pretty much been won by internal frame packs. We'll also look into fitting, how to fit packs so they ride better. And then at the very end, we're going to look over some common failures out in the backcountry beyond just backpacks. So internal frame packs have pretty much taken over the world. Their frame are usually two flat bars that are inside the stitching, so you never even see them, which is why they're called internal frame. It's not always the best backpack, but it's what everybody likes. They come in the best colors. People really have taken to them. But we're going to look at some of the pluses and minuses. The biggest pluses are how closely they ride to you, which is also a minus because it means they're hotter when you're carrying them, but it means that they stay with you more. So if you are scrambling, climbing over rocks, crossing streams, then the pack is going to ride with you and it's a little bit more predictable. On skis, snowshoes, they again, because they hug a little bit closer to you, they're going to ride better than an external frame pack. But they can get a little bit sweaty. Fortunately, the newer they are, the more features they have to help you um, be comfortable. The gal on the right, there is too much of a gap on that pack. That thing is huge. Um, but so we will talk about fitting and getting that to ride better. One of the disadvantages of the internal frame pack over the external is with that hugging close to you, to get a balance, you end up leaning forward more. You're not able to stand up right as much, especially as the weight goes up. So it is fatiguing to be standing in that slightly stooped over position. Internal frame packs travel a lot better. There aren't as many things poking out. They're not as rigid. So they do go on buses and trains and airplanes a lot better. Uh, they do have a lot of straps poking out. Sometimes when I'm traveling, I'll put the pack inside a duffel bag, and that way nobody sees that it's a backpack and there aren't as many straps hanging out. External frame packs do carry a bigger load. They allow you to walk upright a little bit more. You can get more stuff inside, and at least empty, they actually weigh less than the internal frame packs. The folks on the left here, because they're carrying lots of climbing gear for a week of climbing, wax packs are probably weighing in the 70, 80 pounds. Climbing ropes, hardware, ice axes, so extra boots. You can stand upright as long as you're on a trail. As long as you go off trail, it gets pretty awkward. The guy on the right, we ended up strapping parts of rafts to that because the place where the airplane could land on the pond on the lake was still half a mile from the river that we were going to run. So it was nice to be able to pull the sack off of that frame and then just use the frame for hauling oars and frame and rubber for the raft. What you don't see in this picture is shortly after this, he skied off down the hill, thought he was going to fit between the two trees, and did not. He was too big up top. So yeah, these are not the best packs for skiing, for both balance and for their big, broad size. Like other kinds of non-walking travel, external frame packs are pretty bulky, so they didn't fit too well in these canoes, which was a combination of backpacking and canoeing. Internal frame pack would have been nicer here. So for a quick humorous look at the two different pack styles, you can see Bob up right next to us with the blue pack, an internal frame pack, and out ahead of him, the next two packs are external frame packs. So here we are coming up from our camp, starting in the morning. Chris got a head start there in the yellow t-shirt, and it isn't too long in this off-trail awkward situation that Bob catches up with Chris and passes her on by. However, as we top out over this hill, we drop down and we hit the trail. And for upright walking, same weight pack, it's hard to beat an internal frame pack, or excuse me, an external frame pack. For just walking on easy trails. So the Great Revolution, one of them, additionally that you don't think of as much, was the suspension system when George Low created the internal frame packs. Both the shoulder harness system and the waist system were changed drastically with the internal frame pack, the one on the left. And at least a few companies like Kelty and Dana adopted most of those into their external frame system. The old system with the external frame just really isn't worth owning. So some of the changes down there at the bottom, you can see that the waist belt is only attached narrowly in the center. So that's new with internal frame packs and added to this external. That allows the waist belt to be wrapping around your hips rather than just pulling off the side. Also up at the top, the shoulder straps in the old style, there was just one strap that went up and over the top and then reattached. But the newer style, where the green arrows are, show that there's a stabilizer strap that helps lift the shoulder strap. So you've got a couple of extra adjustments that we didn't used to have. The placement for the pack, for putting the pack on, seeing if it fits, is you want to do your waist belt first. So your shoulder straps can be pretty loose. You lift up your pack. I pull mine too high up around my smaller part of my stomach, the squishy part, and pull the pack straps pretty tight, and then let it drop down. And I want the top of my iliac crest, so you should just reach in there right now and find that top of your hip bone toward the front. Give that a poke right now with your finger or your thumb. And you want that to be in the middle or the upper third of your big padded waist belt. You can see behind me that conical shape makes it so that I'm wrapped around a lot more body parts, more muscle. Looking at the change in the suspension system, with that lifter strap or the stabilizer strap, I can now have those shoulder straps to where I can get 2 or 3 fingers to slide under there. Really, the shoulder straps are not holding much weight at all. It's just keeping the pack from tipping over backwards. So I adjust it so the curved part that attaches low, I adjust that so I can get 2 fingers under it. Then I tighten up the stabilizer strap enough to lift and pull the frame pack up closer to my body, which allows me to then walk upright. And the ideal spot for the top strap attachment is somewhere around your lower ear. So here you can see those adjustments. The yellow arrows are the curved strap, the padded strap, and then the green arrows are where you attach the stabilizer lift strap to the front of the padded shoulder strap, and then it should come at about lower ear level. And on the front of all of these packs, you have a sternum strap, which helps your shoulder straps feel like they're not falling off. You want that right about your collarbone, maybe just a little bit below it, but not too low, not too high. So yeah, some of these gals have got them a little too high, perhaps. Putting on your pack. Well, it's nicest if you can get help, and it's nice if you can sit your pack over on a boulder and just step into it. But here's all of 98 pounds of Kathy lifting up a 50-pound pack. What she's doing right is she's lifted it straight up, put it on her knee, then she's going to slip her arm and shoulder inside the strap and then swing the pack around behind her on just one shoulder, and then she'll be able to attach the other shoulder. So here's Chris doing the same thing with an external frame pack. First thing she does is lift it up onto her thigh with her knee bent out there, slips one shoulder in, and then swings it around to the back side of her. This is the most perfect pack stopping spot I've ever had, so I just had to use it, and I just backed in. It was exactly the right height between 2 boulders, and unbuckled my waist belt, and it was just sitting there waiting for me when I came back for it. Pack covers are among the things that people like to disagree about and talk about for hours. So here are 2 packs with their pack covers. Pack covers, they're not heavy, but it all adds up. You already heard in the previous one that I prefer to instead have a couple of trash compactor bags and put all of my stuff in trash compactor bags inside the pack itself. So here's a large bag thrown over the top of a pack for a pack cover to keep it dry. It had been raining, and I really think it would be better if she had put that pack inside, and or not the pack, if she had put the the big trash bag inside, put all her stuff inside of that. Everything would be a lot more protected from abrasions and tears. Okay, how to distribute your weight in a pack is a little bit different between the two. So the external frame pack on your left, you can let your weight go a little bit higher on those. That just the rigid structure allows that. It also helps your balance a little bit. It doesn't. It allows it to hump over your shoulders more, let you stand upright a little bit more. Both of these, you want your heaviest weight up against the frame, and then where the big stars are, that's where you're going to focus some of your heaviest stuff. So on the right, on the internal frame pack, still up against your frame, so closest to your body, but it needs to be lower on those. The higher it is, the more awkward those packs get. So pretty awkward packing job here. Didn't do a good job of filling it, stuffing things down low. Ends up with a whole big wad up on top. Fortunately, it's pretty lightweight stuff, so he actually did just fine. And yeah, that's not how you pack. But he's really just running from the campsite back to the car, so it's just in there for. So some alternatives from carrying a backpack. Yeah, buy or hire some llamas that can carry quite a bit of your gear. Horses are the same. Get your mom to pull you, even better yet. So, and yeah, it's great when somebody pulls you. Then this is pulling gear. Those are packs, but a relatively flat trail going in here just a couple of miles and skiing into the Uinta yurts on the Evanston side, the Lily Lake yurts. This was the big eye-opening trip for me. My external frame pack or my internal frame pack empty weighed 9 pounds. It's empty. So I didn't carry an extra day pack for hiking, so that's my sleeping bag stuff sack with everything I needed for the day, a little bit of food, some rain gear. We only went about 3 miles from camp. And yeah, I just did not want to carry that 9 pound pack as a day pack. So I had to make do right there. So coming up is going to be our lightweight pack. It was that trip that made me realize I did not want to carry 9 pounds of just backpack. I did get that down to under 2 pounds, which we're going to take a look at in the next slide, or the next PowerPoint. So before we go there, the most common equipment failures. Think about your gear. What are the things that have failed for you? I went to a bunch of rentals and retailers to ask them what's failing in gear, plus my own experience, things that I've seen. And here's what I have come up with. That zippers were number one. Zippers are interesting little machines. They work, and we don't pay that much attention to them, but most people never notice how they work. What you have is the wide end of the zipper pull that allows the two sides to be pulled together very, very precisely. So if you close your fingers and just rub your knuckles together, put one inside the other, that's what a zipper looks like, and you can open and close your knuckles. So what happens, what fails most of the time is running over grime and dirt and sand and opening and closing zippers under tension. That little glide, which is just an aluminum 40-cent piece, loses its shape. So sometimes the plastic zipper itself fails, but usually it's the glide, and it just loses shape. So you can do temporary repairs in the field using pliers and pinch them a little bit tighter on each side. Just go at it slowly. You can't do it too many times. The metal fatigues and breaks. And then when you get home, you can go to a place, a repair shop that can replace just the glide itself, which is a 40 to a couple dollar part. Rather than throw away, I've picked up people's tents in the trash that they were throwing away for want of a 50-cent new zipper glide. The next most troublesome piece of gear for many people is their stove. And when I talk to, again, the rental places, especially, they said, no, their stoves were fine. They just didn't follow the instructions. So really understand your stove before you head out there. Some of them get pretty quirky when they get hot, some more when they're cold. So yeah, learn all about your stove before you take it out there. And then of this cluster of uh, most common gear problems out in the backcountry were tents in two ways. One, getting holes in them, branches falling on them, or when they're on the outside of a pack, getting scraped going through trees or through slot canyons. And then the next one was poles. So poles getting broken, uh, somebody falling on them was the most common way, or the wind, especially if you're using fiberglass poles, which are awful. They're heavy, they break easily, they splinter. They get, yeah, stick to an aluminum T7000, maybe T6000 series. And then you can also see in the background here of the two tents that were put away wet. So mildew is a problem with tents also.